The 2020 presidential election is finally here.
Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
An election that will live in infamy.
Voters will decide between 4 more years of Donald Trump.
We're going to win 4 more years in the White House.
Or change course with Democratic challenger Joe Biden.
We have put together the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Electoral fraud involves the illegal interference with the process of an election, either by increasing the vote share of a favored candidate, depressing the vote share of rival candidates, or both.
Get your words straight, Jack.
On election night, President Trump was winning in key swing states. To win the 2020 election, Biden would have to flip these 6 states from red to blue: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. No incumbent president has ever gained votes on re-election and lost. In 2020, Donald Trump gained over 10 million new votes.
The Fox News Decision Desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win the state of Wisconsin.
This is a big development.
Yeah.
The Fox News Decision Desk is calling Arizona for Joe Biden.
Then something unprecedented happened. The counting stopped.
Butler County had to press pause on counting ballots. Nevada, meanwhile, has stopped counting votes until 9 a.m. on Thursday.
A water pipe has broken in State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena is where they were counting the absentee ballots of Georgia's most populous county. And now the tabulation has stopped.
It's Allegheny, which is Pittsburgh, but also Beaver, part of our county to county, Butler and Westmoreland. They've all stopped counting for the night.
And Nevada says it stopped counting the votes yesterday, Election Day, but they don't say why. Why did you stop counting?
Millions of Americans wondered what really happened.
You may have gone to bed thinking this election was headed one way, and then you woke up and you saw things were different.
Everyone has heard about election fraud, but what you are about to see and hear includes new video proof of the cover-up. Some identities have been obscured for their own protection.
I have witnessed fraud as an election insider all the way up to the highest that you can go in Delaware County. And it is absolutely criminal that nobody is doing anything about it.
There are 3 prosecutors' offices that have jurisdiction to charge individuals who committed fraud in the elections. All 3 of them failed to act. Delaware County DA Jack Stolzheimer, Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro, U.S. Eastern District Attorney William McSwain. Stolzheimer prosecuted small-time Republican fraud. Shapiro denied all evidence of fraud.
They've alleged fraud where there isn't any. They've spun these ridiculous conspiracy theories.
Even worse, declared days before Election Day that Donald Trump could not win the election. And after the election, William McSwain wrote a letter to Donald Trump, calling the Pennsylvania election a partisan disgrace, saying that the state Supreme Court made up their own rules and did not follow the law. At the end of the letter, McSwain said he was told to pass along any serious fraud allegations to the state attorney general, the same attorney general who had already declared that Trump could not win. An infantry officer in the Marine Corps, William McSwain took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. He had duty to his country to investigate election fraud reported to him. But he failed to investigate, failed to preserve evidence, and failed to timely resign, so the DOJ could assign a new attorney to follow the Constitution and investigate election fraud. The following happened at a Bethel Township poll station, located in a highly conservative retirement community.
The scanner was reversing ballots. So it reversed the ballots, I would say at least like anywhere between 50 and 70 votes.
In what time period?
Within the first hour.
And how long did this problem last?
The entire day. So the person that identified the problem was the voting machine warehouse supervisor, James Savage. He arrived to our precinct about 2.5 hours after we opened, and he told us that the ballot barcodes were deformed. So when he arrived with 3 other gentlemen. And when they arrived at the poll to try to address the situation, he did not troubleshoot anything. He just made a statement, and he did not replace anything, and there was no work done on any of the scanners.
Jim Savage has been a high-level Democrat operative for years. He was vice chair of the Delaware County Democratic Party, vice president of the Philadelphia AFL-CIO, and even a DNC delegate. He's worked for everyone, from Obama to Bernie Sanders, publicly boasting that all he wanted for Christmas was Donald Trump and handcuffs. And now he's in charge of Pennsylvania's voting machines.
When I was there on November 5th, I observed Savage walking into the counting center in the Wharf in Chester, unaccompanied. He had a plastic bag in his hand that was unsealed. He had gone into the back room, and then he came back out, and that is when he had the V drives in his hand, and I had watched him stand over top of a gentleman with white hair. He was a heavyset gentleman with a light blue shirt on. He had asked him to log into the computer system, which was the tabulation area, and that's when Jim Savage was plugging V drives into the computer.
A second witness also watched the changing of the votes with the V drives.
He walked in on the 3 days after the election, and he took a bunch of USB sticks and he plugged them into the voting machines. I watched him. I testified to it. It's just clear. It flipped the vote by 50,000 votes.
During the training, Jim Savage held up in his hand a fairly large V drive key, and he said, "This is extremely important. This controls all of the votes. This controls how the machine runs. You can change an election with this."
There's 428 precincts in Delaware County. 428 precincts are supposed to have a thing called a return sheet. It is the ground truth for what happened in the election.
A return sheet in Pennsylvania tells you that you received X amount of blank provisional ballots, actual ballots, how many spoiled ballots that you have. You write how many votes that were in person, and then all of the numbers add up. And just like a checkbook, everything has to add up. And out of 428 precincts, over 200 did not fill out the return sheet or properly fill out the return sheet.
They lied under oath, and they certified a vote that they knew was fraudulent.
In the spring of 2021, a right-to-know request was filed for the return sheets and voting machine tapes for all of Delaware County. Pennsylvania's right-to-know law, or FOIA, provides that any person has the right to request access to records, and all public bodies of government are required to disclose them.
I can tell you that FOIA request was not 100% met. Maybe they got 50% of the information that was requested in the FOIA, if that. They were asked for the front and the back of the return sheets.
What you are about to witness is Tom Gallagher, lawyer for Delaware County, conspiring with another election worker to hide part of the return sheets.
When we Xerox these return sheets, there are notes on these return sheets, and we're going to have to cover them over with paper. You know, if somebody wrote on there, "This is an outrageous an example."
So any derogatory or whatever.
So, Tom, are we happy with what's on the back of the notes or no?
We're not going to scan what's on the back of it.
Okay.
Under the return sheet and the tape. There must be a way to set it up so it only does the front.
They never got the back of any of the return sheets, and there were 4, 5, 6 copies of a return sheet, each of them different for one location, which doesn't make any sense.
And here's Jim Savage, voting machine warehouse supervisor, conspiring with Tom Gallagher about an upcoming elections board meeting.
Monday, you want us there for questions and answers. I don't know what time the board meeting is Monday, do you? No, and he's not going to be available. So I don't know if we wanted another Democrat. I don't know if that comes. Usually just seems I'm going to do all the talking. Yeah.
Let me ask Jean Davison first.
Okay, she's going to be gone.
She's out of here.
She's on vacation.
She is. I saw her picture.
Yeah. All right. I just need a warm body.
Here is Tom Gallagher again, lawyer for Delaware County, destroying voting machine tapes to bypass the right to know request.
And then let them try to figure it out.
Right, what we did.
Tom, why do you have to rip it up? Makes you feel better?
We are, it's just so many, I didn't want to try to pick it out and take it through stuff away.
Oh.
We're gonna have a little campfire going.
That was 4 times.
What we have here is evidence. What we have there is evidence. Right? Let them figure that out.
Yes, but what I don't understand, and this makes me nervous, is why tapes were being thrown away. So what is...
Those tapes were...
No, you guys have been throwing away tapes, so what tapes are you throwing away? Like, why?
Because they're unidentifiable. There's no way they could,
But it's been that way since the November election, so why would you throw anything away? Since you have to save it for 22 months.
Well, let's put it this way. Yes, there are tapes that are being tossed, but they are of no audit value. Of no audit value.
Here is Jim Savage conspiring with James Allen, Director of Elections Operations, to create a second set of records for future FOIA requests.
Oh, you're saying recreated? I'm saying recreate one for these jokers, right? And then create another set for the next set of jokers, but we cut it out, and then we create a permanent record that we always like, here you go.
This is Jim Savage and James Allen discussing getting rid of the pads and second scanners.
Pads in the second scanner. We got to talk about it now. Why? Go on.
Here is Tom Gallagher discussing the V-Drive handling with the whistleblower.
They're on another team who just want to set us up to fail.
So
we had people come down to do the V-Drives for us.
Oh. Are you doing LNA testing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Yeah, everybody's not on the same team. They're not on the same page.
Not at all. And I left a scathing voicemail, probably totally inappropriate, no cursing, on Friday for Lorraine, because she just handed me this box and said, it's missing Chester 1, it's missing Haverford, Falcroft, with no piece of paper.
Why is it missing those V drives?
I have no idea, but there's 1,000 V drives in there, and I'm like, and they all came out of the plastic cases. They were all over the place. And she took V drives, just shoved them into plastic bags, and she went like this. So I said, you get down here and you straighten this out. Well, Jim Allen got a hold of it, and he's just making check marks.
The evidence you have witnessed, including the destruction and alteration of election-related documentation, is a direct violation of U.S. Code Title 52, Statutes 20701 and 20702. These statutes leave no room for interpretation. All records and paperwork from elections must be preserved for 22 months. Any person who willfully destroys or alters any record or paper has violated numerous state and federal laws. In mid-November of 2020, while still tallying results from the November 3rd elections, Delaware County's computer network was hacked. Forced to pay ransomware hackers $500,000, Delaware County was quick to claim the Elections Bureau was not affected. But recently uncovered audio from Howard Lazarus, executive director of Delaware County, not only leaves plenty of room to doubt that claim, but confirms that the entire downloading of election results was left to one person.
Need to make sure that there is a quality person assigned to support elections, but we're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist and most likely won't. Part of our problem in the county is that this jointed nature of our IT structure has led to our failure to update equipment, not having depth of resources, which led to, among other things, the intrusion into the system and the fact that we relied on really one person to download the results last November.
So we went down to the counting center in Delaware County. It is a very, very old building sitting on the Delaware River, and it is nothing around it.
When you walk into the counting center, there were people unobserved that were pre-sorting these ballots. Once it left the ground floor, it went up an elevator to the first floor, this big area of all these it's like multi-million dollars worth of machinery.
It's called the Blue Crest sorter. It takes envelopes, takes them in, examines the envelope, and it looks at a signature block, it looks at the address, it looks at the serial number of the barcode.
It would take an image, and then it would sort it by precinct. That machine then sliced open the secrecy envelope and removed the ballot. So during that time, the setting was off. It was slicing ballots, like really, really bad. You're talking thousands and thousands of ballots. So then it caused it to go to an adjudication process. Then what they did was they took it in these red bins, and then they said that there was like a second observation area, and then they took it into the back room. Well, you can't see what's going on, and I don't know what they're doing with those ballots. Nobody was allowed in that back room until we got the injunction.
And there's a very interesting thing about the Blue Crest sorter, and the reason it's important. It takes an image and a picture of every single envelope. Barcode, person, signature. Those people should be in the SURE system. The SURE system is the election system for Pennsylvania. We got a phone call, and she said, Greg, they're gonna delete all the images. I was like, damn it. She's like, Greg, that's the evidence. Now, criminal law was the venue of the U.S. Attorney General, which is Barr, and in Philadelphia, in the eastern Pennsylvania, was the venue of U.S. Attorney Billy McSwain. We get the forensic images. If we have those forensic images, we have the proof that we're going to need later. He didn't do it. Couldn't do it. I don't care who won. Don't have the forensic evidence. You don't have the custody sheets. You don't have the ballots. The proof sheets, which are required by law, which are the paper tapes, are gone and have been destroyed. The envelopes have been destroyed. The Blue Crest sorter, which took images of the evidence, have been destroyed. The only thing I'm left with is ballots. We have evidence coming out of our ass that the election was fraudulent.
Elections have consequences.
We've seen what happens when presidential elections are stolen. But down ballot, city and state races often have the most immediate impact on our daily lives.
I think the Board of Education and those sitting on the panels are thieves.
It talks about oppressors and oppressed. That is damaging to every group of children.
They're liars and have committed treason against our children.
From what children are taught in school to how our communities are policed, mandated, even how our criminals are prosecuted. Election integrity matters on every level.
Yeah, I said it. Teachers Union. That's who you guys are protecting.
It's time to rise up and demand accurate elections.
When you build a charging station, it's like back in the day with my grandpa. We can work together with Russia, for example,
By the way, we never forget 2020, just in case you have any questions. We're not forgetting 2020.
Let's go, Brandon.